The Hash It Out Show is brought to you by Barreto Home Solutions, Bayou Audio and Video, Hot Works on the North Shore, JFK Martial Arts in Mandeville and Covington, Black Hawk Hauling, Lil Dizzy's Cafe, Wags Food and Culture, Moe's Pizza, The Green Law Firm, Personal Injury Attorney, Drums Earwear.
Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. 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 Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hash It Out Show. I am your host, JB the Sports Guy. We got a big show for you all tonight to end the year of 2023. Later on in the show, we're going to have Jawan Johnson from Lafayette Christian Academy joining us. But before we get to our first guest, I'm joined by my two co-hosts that you can catch on CrescentCitySports.com. First up, the one and only, VK Jones. What's going on, VK?
What's going on, everybody? Like, tag, share, and subscribe to the Hash It Out Show on all social media platforms. Go and log on to the hashitoutshow.com. We appreciate it. This is our last show of 2023. We're going out with a bang tonight, man.
Oh, definitely. And also joining us, the one and only George Peppers. What's up, GP?
What's up, JB? VK? It's great to join you guys for the last show of 2023. And as y'all said, we're gonna finish strong. And boy, oh boy, we got a daily double of great guests. Well, I had to throw a little horse racing interjection there. We're gonna finish this out big tonight, guys.
Oh, most definitely. Let's get right to it. Our first guest, he's nationally known, and he is the new head coach of the Grambling State University Tigers. Also, my Archbishop Shaw brother, the one and only Coach Mickie Joseph. Coach Joseph, how you doing? And thank you for joining us.
Man, I appreciate y'all having me. How y'all doing?
We're doing good, Coach.
Good, Coach.
Coach, how does it feel being the head coach of Grambling State University?
I mean, it's an honor. I mean, with the tradition and prestige, this is a prestigious university. It's an honor to be their head coach right now.
Coach, you said that you need to restore order and other schools need to fear Grambling. Why is that?
Because of the tradition, because what the school was built on, what Ada Robinson's did, and with the Doug Williams, Shaq Harris, just when they come down a hill that you understand that they mean business. I think I played him in 2002 or maybe 2001 at Nickel Stadium. We played him at 11 o'clock in the morning, and they probably was sleeping the first half, but the second half they woke up, and I said, you know what, that was a pretty good football team that Doug had that day, because they came in and we played it tight that first half. The second half they just destroyed us. So it's always straight, strong tradition at Grambling, and you always have to respect them when you play them. And that's one thing I reiterate to the kids, that everybody's going to give them their best shot just because they're Grambling.
What can we expect from your team with you as the head coach?
Well, we're going to play with some discipline, and we're also gonna play with some fire. We're gonna play with some fire. We're gonna play with some passion, but we're gonna play under control. controlled chaos, but it's going to be with some discipline.
Before I pass it on to VK, we just had the early National Signing Day. We have another signing day coming in February. I'm sure there's
Right
players
there.
out there that you're looking to get. What can you speak about on the next signing day in February?
Well, we just got in, so we didn't want to hurry everything because I mean, I understand how this goes. You know, everybody, you know, the first early signing day, everybody's going to Alabama, everybody's going to LSU. So now it's kind of reality is going to set in with some of these kids that, hey, maybe I am a group of five, maybe I am a FCS kid. So it gives us a chance to really be detailed with what we're doing and make sure that we don't miss on anybody. So that's why we didn't rush it, and we do have some good names on the board for February, and we're gonna attack that once we get back in the office.
Coach Joseph, man, thank you so much for answering the invitation and to join us and everything else. You know, me and you go way back. Shout out to
Exactly.
yes, sir. Shout out to all the Joseph family. Hopefully, that's watching this show and all the West Bankers who are watching this show tonight.
Yes.
First of all, I want to congratulate you, and this is big for you more than anything else. And it comes with a lot of work. And do you think the hard work has kind of paid off with you getting really a second chance to be a major coach?
Oh yeah, I mean the hard work pays off, and I tell a lot of young coaches that you got to pay your dues in this business. I mean they just don't give head jobs away. You got to be prepared, and people got to understand and know that you can do the job. So yes, the hard work pays off. You got to put your time in. I mean nobody's seen the job. You know what I had in 98 at Wayne State when I was making $500 a month. Nobody sees that the grind that I put in on the NAIA level, the D2 level, the FCS level, HBCUs, PWIs. Just the work you put in.
It's, especially with yourself in Grambling, that's really big for you. And how big it is, and how it come upon that Grambling gives you the call and gives you the opportunity to become their head man, especially with your experience in the state of Louisiana.
Well, we had talked before in previous years. So we had talked before, and I knew Dr. Scott from we had a previous relationship when he was at Southern. So when we couldn't get it done that year because I was already under contract. But this time it worked out. I wasn't under contract, so it was time to see if we can make it work. And we talked for a while. Talked to the president, and we all on the same page. We understand what needs to be done with this football program.
Now, you've been building and building. Being in Nebraska, coming back a little bit, not to hometown, but home to where you played in college. How it was with the experience there, especially with you taking over as interim coach after Scott Frost leaves the program.
Well, it was great. Like I said, Nebraska's always been good to me. I really love the fans there. It's a great fan base, one of the best fan bases in the United States.
Mhm.
But Nebraska was good to me. So, it was a great experience to take over that program. And we just couldn't get it done. We just didn't get it done. And I'm sure Coach Rule will have a game plan where he can get it done. But it was a great experience.
And I tell you, taking a look a little bit at at your alma mater, Archbishop Shaw, and
Hmm.
what a comeback that they have made these last couple of seasons under your mentor, Coach Hank Tierney. What are your thoughts of how your alma mater is really starting to bounce back?
Well, man, you know what? Well, Coach Hank's the GOAT. He mean everywhere he goes, he wins. And one thing we learned from him that taking on his coaches is to be consistent with your teaching. And he's consistent with his teaching. He's consistent with the discipline that he wants.
Oh,
We lost coach for a second. Hopefully we get him back.
You should get him back.
We get him back in a second. But I see you giving Archbishop Shaw some love, huh? I see that. Thank you, VK.
it is the
Yeah,
holiday season, Jaron.
but then on top of that, this is a legendary player in this
Oh,
Western,
oh.
and you have to ask those questions, especially where they come from, the roots and all that good stuff and everything.
Look, you heard Coach Hank. He says it's Mickie and it's Sharon.
Mm,
Top two. He's the best players he's ever coached.
wow.
So
got to see
So
I got to see Mickey my freshman year at Eric in a classic playoff game, and Eric won state my freshman year in '85, and we beat Shaw in the first round, and that was a tooth and nail fight. And Mickey, it looked like they were going to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat in that last drive, but they came up a little short. But at that point, I was like, this dude is special, and he's gone on to a very good career. I remember covering him, VK. You remember at Desire Street Academy, covering
Mhm.
him up there. Went to a playoff game, and I watched those kids, and I'd tell you what, Grambling, and I'm going to mention his Zoom if we can get it back. They've got themselves a winner. This man, the discipline, the respect these kids are going to have, man. I saw it at Desire Street, guys, and I know Mickey's going to get them boys right. And what really struck me with your first question,
we got
Jared.
Coach Joseph back. We'll bring him right back in
We
now.
go.
Yep.
All right, VK.
What? Go ahead, Coach.
No, I just say like we really blessed to have Coach Hank, in our life. I lost y'all for a while, so I didn't get the last question.
Yeah, what we was just asking about how Coach Hank has bounced back,
Oh
and
yeah, I mean, like I said, everywhere he goes, he wins. He's the goat. He's one of the winnest high school football coaches in Louisiana. He does a really good job, and I'm just happy Shaw brought him back.
speaking of Shaw and everything else, we always talk about, a lot of people talk about how you're one of the best players, but in your opinion, who do you think was one of the best players to ever play at Archbishop Shaw?
Well, I would have to say Sharon Carey was a really good one. Derek Joseph was a really good one, but the one that really nobody talks about, is Vance Joseph, who went to the state championship 3 years in a row. He won his first state championship at the age of 14. And people don't know that about him. He's probably one of the smartest players that Hank ever coached. I played on a lot of natural ability. VJ played on a lot of smarts. But I gotta go with Sharon. Sharon was probably one of the best players that I've seen come through Shaw. Pound for pound.
Absolutely. And
Yep.
looking at, over the years how your family has really just grown over the years now, from being players to coaches and everything else. You look at Derek, as he's a trainer all over
Hmm.
the city, and yourself and your two brothers in the coaching and everything else. I know your mom and your dad very proud of
Yes.
how y'all really put the work out there and making a product. I remember I seen your mom not too long ago at a Shaw game,
Uh
and
huh.
we all go way back. But how it is that how your family is just continuing to work hard, especially using football as a tool, as a platform to push things out.
Well, when I got started coaching, I remember Vance letting the job go at Coors. I mean, I think he was making like six digits, and he took a job as a grad assistant at Colorado, and he became the DB coach at Wyoming, and then he turned around and went right back to Colorado, and that's why his career started. I remember Terry when Terry got his job at Southeastern. I think he was on the job for 48 hours, and then he flipped and went to Louisiana Tech. So we've been blessed. And now Sammy was at Memphis. Now Sammy's at Louisiana Monroe as defensive back coach. So we all been blessed. We all been blessed to have opportunities to coach, and we got to take advantage of it.
Absolutely. I'm actually just one more question, and George Peppers will take over with the questioning. You know, the times when, do you think this is redemption for you as a coach than you was as a player? Because you, looking at a lot of film, you was unbelievable at Nebraska before the eventual Tommy Frazier steps in,
Hmm.
and you was just unbelievable in yourself. But you redeemed yourself so much. Do you think it was redemption for you, giving back as a coach more than anything else? And also, what kind of message you're trying to send to these current players at Grambling, and especially whoever is coming?
Well, my thing is, I always said this. I'm happy that I was before Tommy Frazier because he probably would have beat me out. Tommy was a great player. He's probably he probably the best quarterback to ever come through University of Nebraska. So Tommy was a really good player. He's a good friend of mine. We tight to this day. Just giving back to the players, and trying to be real with them, And the kids, the guys at Grambling, I think the ones I spoke to already, they understand where I'm coming from. You know that I'm here for them. I'm a true players coach. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I expect you to tell me the truth. But I expect you to compete. I expect you to compete on the field and off the field. So I think that they understand that. But I mean, we'll see. But I think my message is straight. You know, I mean, like I said, when I was at LSU, I tell people all the time, I had Lamborghinis in that room. You know, so I had to make sure that they understood who was in control of that room. And to this day, I'm tight with those kids, and those kids are really good players. They were first rounders. But you know, by me having a strong relationship with them, letting them know, you know, what was right, what was wrong, they really appreciated that. And to this day, you know, they really appreciate it, and they're getting after it in the league.
You know, it's gonna be something else with you going forward. A lot of these people giving shout outs. I don't know if you know Colin Johnson. I think you probably do. You know, he's giving you a shout out as well
Well,
on
yeah,
these
that's my
comments.
that's my cousin. That's my cousin. I mean, that's my younger cousin.
There you go. There you go. But man, I know you're doing some really good things. George Peppers, go ahead with your questions.
Goody. First of all, Coach Mickie Joseph, we appreciate you joining us tonight. Belated Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you, my friend.
Same
Congratulations
to
on
you.
getting this Grambling job. Thank you. Congratulations on getting this job at Grambling. And I couldn't help but notice your first answer to JB's first question. And I kind of want to harp on that. What did you see from Grambling, about the discipline part? And it seemed like that team wasn't really sound the last few years. What did you see? And what was the lure of Grambling that brought you there?
Well, I mean, like I said, I was there before. You know, I was there with Coach
Mhm,
Fobbs when Coach Fobbs came in. I spent 2 years with Coach Fobbs
mhm,
there, and then I went on to Louisiana Tech, then LSU, then Nebraska. So you know, my mom, you know, V knows my mom. My mom's a praying woman. My mom says sometimes God works like that. He puts you somewhere so you can return. You know, with more experience, and I think that's how I'm returning to Grambling. I'm returning with more experience than I had when I was there. But it was a similar situation. It was great people, great fan base. Every college game, every college program is a pressure cooker. Every college wants to win right now, and I think that's what Grambling wants to do. They want to win and they deserve to win, and that's what we're going to try to put on the table for them.
Agree.
Talk about the effects of the new regime of college football, the NIL, the transfer portals, and everything else. Talk about how do you think that has affected more so the FCS programs because kids tend to come to you if they don't come to schools like you if they can't go to like the big programs and they're looking for an opportunity to play. Talk about how that has affected the landscape of college football.
Well, I mean, it really puts a hiccup in the college game because even if I get a kid, say I get a kid his freshman year, and he's really doing what he's supposed to do, and he's you
Mhm.
know catching balls, touchdowns. You know, by the time his junior year, the big boys gonna come get him, and the one thing they're gonna do, they're gonna outbid me. So it's gonna be relationships when it come to that. But what's happening right now, and I tell everybody what's happening is, you notice nobody's talking about education anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're
Mm-mm.
talking about transfer portal, they're talking about NIL. And I say you better track these kids. 10 years from now, these kids are getting this big money because once they leave, they gotta understand that money's not gonna be there anymore. So you better be smart with that money. If you're on a power five level and you're getting 300,000, 500,000, you better be smart with it and listen to your parents or listen to somebody with some sense and put some of that money away. Because you can easily go from getting 500,000, and if you don't go to the league, you just go to a 9 to 5 to make about 120. Well, that's going to be like you're going to look at that and say, "Oh, it's not a lot of money," but 120 is a lot of money. But kids can't forget about their education because at the end of the day, the education is going to take you farther than the NIL money. The NIL money is going to take you right now. So, but you notice, and that's when I'm gonna be preaching to my kids. Don't focus on the NIL because that's short term money. You know,
Mm-hmm.
let's look long term. Get your education and do it the old school way because the reason I can
Mhm.
stand in front of these kids and my other coaches is because we have an education. We want our boys to get the education because the NIL money, everybody needs, and I know kids coming in there, but you got to check them. You know, you got kids transferring 2 times. So you looking at them, and we're gonna take them, but we're gonna try to make sure we get them on path to graduate from Grambling.
And that answer, ladies and gentlemen, is why Grambling's got themselves a winner. That answer right there. Grambling, y'all got y'all in great hands with Coach Joseph. And uh, my next question, excuse me, my next question concerns the makeup of your team. What kind of a team are you looking to compose going forward as you entrench yourself into the Grambling family. What kind of a team are we looking to see offensively and defensively?
Well, first of all, we're going to start off. We're gonna put fundamentals in front of scheme. It's not going to be schemed in fundamentals. We want to have great fundamentals with these young men that we're going to be coaching. And on offense, we want to be a multiple. We're going to be multiple with personnel sets. 11, 12, 13, 10, 21. Give you different looks. Same plays but different looks. And on defense, we're going to pin our ears back, come get you, and play some man. Try to close down the windows. And on special teams, we want to be sound. We want to be sound in things that we do, but we are going to take chances. We are going to go after try to block punts. We are going to try to run kickoffs back. We're going to take chances on special teams, but we're going to be sound. But the one thing I'm preaching to my coaches is fundamentals over scheme, and I think my coaches understand that.
Next question concerns the level, the FCS level, but mostly the black colleges, the SWAC and the MEAC. You barely see those teams making playoffs. Um, with how the schedule is composed, you guys play Grambling every year in the Bayou Classic. It's Thanksgiving weekend, but it's also the opening weekend of the FCS playoffs. Going forward, would there be any consideration of maybe moving that game to maybe allow if you guys have like an 11-0 year to make a playoff spot, or would you rather keep the game as is with Southern and just go into the Celebration Bowl against the MEAC champ? What's your position on that?
Well, my thing is, it's above my pay grade.
Okay. Well,
So above
okay.
my pay grade. But my thing really is that we keep the game the same, and we do have our own HBCU national championship game, which is the bowl
Yes, we
game
do.
in Atlanta. I think the kids enjoy that bowl game. The kids enjoy the Bayou Classic. But like I said, it's above my pay grade. I'm going to do whatever my president and whatever my athletic director asks me to do, and because we're going to be on the same page. But right now, I think that game generates a whole bunch of financial help for us, and just with
Mhm.
the playoffs, it's tough with the playoffs because you can look up you're being Montana, you're being California, So I think we're on the right page when we playing this game and then having the bowl game in Atlanta.
Last question before I turn it back over to JB. I wanted you to put your analyst hat on and tell me how do you assess the upcoming playoffs with Michigan, Alabama in the Rose Bowl, Texas, Washington in the game here in New Orleans, the Sugar Bowl. How do you assess these playoffs? Who do you favor in this playoff?
Well, I'm a SEC guy, and I know I just got out the Big Ten, but you got to respect the work that Nick did with this team. They really nobody was really talking about this team, and this team came up. They beat Georgia, the number one team in the SEC championship game. Now they got a chance to play a Michigan, another number one team. So I think that they're playing really good football right now, and they're hot. What they're doing, they're executing. They got the quarterback playing well, and they're playing well up front. But Michigan has a really good football team. Michigan, they were winning without their head man on the sideline. I played against that team, and Harbaugh does a really good job with that team. They fundamentally sound, they physical, and they look the part. And so I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. But I lean towards Alabama because I think that they're the hot team right now, and I think they've been punched more than Michigan. I think they played a tougher schedule, so they're not going to panic. When they see this might be Michigan guys' first ever seen a guy like they're gonna see against Alabama. But Alabama has seen it. They don't play it in the SEC, so they battle tested. And far as with Washington and Texas, I won't even get into that because my cousin Terry is the DB coach at Texas, so I'm Texas all the way. Hook 'em horns.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Hey, family, family or everything. Now Joseph boys, we family over everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm
Absolutely,
about to say
JB.
that. Well, Coach, I gotta ask you this right quick since we
Okay.
talking about the college football playoff, and I know, I gotta ask you this. I know you know, I know you know who David Johnson is,
Yes.
and he's been doing some great things, great work, and what Florida State did was unbelievable this year. Do you think? I know you're SC guy, but do you think it could have went another way or something like that, especially with Florida State being out of the playoff?
And I mean, think about it. it's hard to understand what happened there because I feel bad for those coaches and I really feel bad for those kids because those kids did everything that you asked them to do and they went undefeated. They won the ACC championship, and not to put them in. Only the committee knows why. And I think they were saying because of the backup quarterback, but I think Ohio State had the same problem a couple of years ago, and they came in and they played with their backup. So I don't understand what happened, but like you said, your heart goes out to the coaches who put everything in it, and also just man, it's just the kids. I feel bad for those kids, and it's a tough situation. But I think next year, I think they said they're going to 12 next year,
Yes.
Mhm.
so it shouldn't be a problem. It's just a little hiccup this year, and they probably didn't never thought he was going to get to this, but it did. So next year should be better for everybody.
JB, JB, you hear me?
Oh boy, I hope
Oh,
it sounds going to go out again.
we can. I don't know if it's sound what we can't hear you, JB. But let, let's see if we get him back. JB. Well, we still
Oh
can't hear
no.
you, JB. But that's all right. But
Can you hear me now? You got it?
Yeah, we
now
got
we
you.
got
All
you.
right, my
Now
fault.
we got you. It's
All right,
okay.
You good?
Coach. All right, Coach. Before we get you out of here, one of our viewers has a question for you. It's from Chris. He's asking, who have you added to your staff?
They will know soon.
There we go.
They will know soon.
Great
I,
answer.
I just I
Good
won't I,
answer.
I won't I won't mention those guys' names because some of them are still working and they still have to talk to their boss. But I won't put their name out there yet. But it's a pretty
Absolutely.
good staff that I put together though.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Coach Joseph, congratulations on becoming the new head coach at Grambling State University. And we thank you for joining us and we wish you the best of luck, Coach.
Man, I appreciate you guys and have a happy holidays and I look forward to coming back on your show soon.
Yes, sir. Most
Thank
Yes,
you.
definitely.
sir.
All
Same
Absolutely.
to
right,
you.
V, I love you, big dog.
Love you too, man. Thank you so much.
Okay,
All right.
bye bye.
Archbishop Shaw Great, Coach Mickie Joseph. At 8:30, we're going to have one of the greatest high school players ever to play in the state of Louisiana. He is going to play at LSU. That will be Jawan Johnson at 8:30 p.m. So we got a good 30 minutes. But VK, I'm going to start with you. Your thoughts about Coach Mickie Joseph being at the head of the football team for Grambling State and your thoughts on how he will change this program around to get it back into relevancy like it used to be when Coach, what's his name? Oh God, how go blank on my man
Roderick
name?
Farm.
Roderick Fobbs.
No, Eddie Robinson.
Oh, Eddie
Oh, the
Robinson.
great
Eddie
Eddie
Well,
Robinson,
Robinson.
Eddie
well,
back in the day.
well, we understand that, but as we know, Eddie Robinson is the great. But at the same time, Roderick Fobbs did have some
He did. He did. I
consistency
do
of his
agree.
long time. So besides that, Robinson, Rob Broadway, we can't forget about that. He had some great years at Grambling, and then Roderick Fobbs. There's a lot of consistency with those three coaches. But for Mickie Joseph, I think this is big for him. It's a blessing for him to get this second chance. He's been through a lot. He's been through a whole lot. And for him to get the call from Grambling, and this is his second stint. He was an assistant under Broderick Fobbs, but he's been everywhere. There's a lot of experience in the state of Louisiana, homegrown in the state. So I think he's going to bring a lot. It's going to bring a lot to this school, because you look at over the years, you look at the hires of Grambling, especially before we had Hugh Jackson. You looked at the past with after Robinson, you had Rob Broadway, who done an unbelievable job coming from a North Carolina Central program, taking them to various playoff appearances before they got to the MEAC conference.
Yeah.
And comes to Grambling and keeps them rolling. Then you get Broderick Fobbs, and you look at the Fobbs name and the family name, well known in this state. And he kept things going from Grambling. Now Mickie Joseph, another person who's a product of the state of Louisiana. And I think that's going to be big for them. I think, like Mickie said, the key thing, discipline. And that's the one thing that Grambling is going to get from Mickie Joseph, coming from a disciplined program from Archbishop Shaw. He's going to just continue he's going to teach them more than anything else about discipline, about being humble, about taking things seriously, including going to class, practices, and all that stuff, but also teaching them how to win. That's the most important thing, is teaching them how to win. And when you start winning consistently, things are going to come up and go forward. I'll tell you one thing, it's not going to be an overnight fix at Grambling. It's going to
Correct.
take some time, but I think Mick is going to do a good job over there. It's going to be interesting with him being hired at Grambling and Southern's hire as well. That's going to be interesting itself. A guy who won Bayou Classic for both teams. And it's a great opportunity for him to get that opportunity in Southern. So I tell you, it's going to be something else going forward. And thank goodness it's not a mess like in Texas Southern right now, because it's a big freaking mess. If you ain't never heard about that, Jared, the head coach was supposed to have been Fred McNair,
Right.
coming from Alcorn, but right now it's a big old mess because the committee hasn't fully voted him in, because it's been split between him and Andre Johnson. So Texas Southern is in a big old mess right now. So it's kind of crazy, but HBCU football going forward should be very interesting with a couple of these new hires.
I want to say this before I go to George. I think it's a great hire. Mickie knows the entire state of Louisiana. And he's going to know what kids to go and get to come into Grambling. And he's going to recruit this state hard. And I am excited to see what the future of Grambling will look like under the helm of Coach Mickie Joseph. As you see, D. Gibb Sr., Mickie will get some kids to consider Grambling State University. His credentials will make parents look twice. That is correct. That is correct.
Agreed.
Totally agree. Think about it. He has a Biletnikoff winner under his belt in Jamar Chase. That says a lot right there. I mean, think about that 2019 team of LSU. The receivers he had: Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Terrence Marshall. Yeah. So when he goes into
Thaddeus Moss
was tight end. Yeah, you're right. When he goes into a recruit's house and he can just put that ring on, that LSU national championship ring, that speaks volumes in itself. Go ahead, GP.
I'll say this before. I mean, let me talk about Mickie. I mean, you want my opinion? I think the results are going to be more immediate than VK. Look, they won 5 games with Hugh Jackson as their head coach, and I'm not. Look, they won 5 games with that dude last season. The base is there. All Mickie needs is to fine tune, get his guys in place, and they're going to win fast. I think this can be more immediate than most people can assume, because the standard of excellence that he imposes everywhere he's gone is palpable. Look at his high school coaching. When he coached at Desire Street, a newer school, I think they were in their 3rd or 2nd year that they made a state quarterfinal. I was there when they got there, and they won. And I remember talking with him before the game and, just catching up on old memories. I kind of had to bring up 1985, when they lost to Everett in the playoffs. And he's like, man, don't do that tonight. I didn't want to bring it up tonight. So I was like, well, I'll leave it alone. It's, it's the holidays and everything else. I said, well, keep it full of cheer. It's all good. But no, I saw those kids and I saw how he coaches, the discipline and the respect, not, you got these kids that they're thinking about the money and they're not thinking about their futures. And I loved his answer about the NIL, his position. To me, it is an awesome answer. It tells me everything I need to know. And I meant everything I said to him. It tells me everything I think. Grambling is going to win, and they're going to win a lot. Is he going to do Eddie Robinson things? No. Come on, man. There's only one Eddie Robinson. Coach Rob is the legend. God rest his soul. But, they've had a lot of great coaches, Broderick Fobbs, Rod Broadway. Doug Williams won a lot there, too, when he was the head coach.
Yes.
Let's not forget that. He was one of the goats of Grambling football as far as a player. Then he obviously went on to win a Super Bowl in Washington, beating John Elway in that game. But Grambling's going to win a lot. And I am like you, Jared. I am super, 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 super excited to see what's going to happen. And I feel like we're going to see Grambling being in a celebration bowl. And look, the question I had was from something we talked about during the summer. Remember, we were on WBOK and they gave us a shot on BOK, and we brought this up as a point of discussion about where would you rather be in the FCS playoffs or in the celebration bowl? And it came down to a financial issue. That's why I asked him that question. I wanted to get his perspective, and to address one of our listeners, he said he was like, I don't know if he was thinking I was intimating to get rid of the Bayou Classic. No, at all. The Bayou Classic is what it is. It is a great cultural event. You've got a lot of activities in advance of it. I'm not trying to get rid of the Bayou Classic at all. I mean, it is a cultural event for the city of New Orleans that brings a lot of money and a lot of exposure. I'm not one to get rid of it. All I was saying was that, would you put yourself in a playoffs in a more national stage in a playoff setting? We had who was it? North Carolina Central, I think, made the playoffs this year.
Yes.
I think it was, it was NC Central that made the playoffs. Now, they got dismissed in the first round. That doesn't matter. The fact that HBCU made the national playoffs this year for the first time in a couple of years, that's happened. I think the last one to do it was Florida A&M.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but here's the problem, and I want to break this down right quick. The thing is, and the reason why nobody want to get rid of the Bayou Classic. We want to see HBCUs in the playoffs, but here's the problem. HBCUs are going to wind up going on the road. They're not going to host a home game because of the problem is
campuses.
With the not just the campuses that they can host, but the problem is the schools have to pay the NCAA to have the home games
the FCS they do
to put together a little thing to get a home game to convince the committee. It's a bunch of baloney. When I heard about this, and I heard about this from insiders from Jackson State and some various other people, and I think what was the guy name on WBOK who called in the show? He made an interesting point when he said that HBCUs have to keep their money because all the money that they're risking, all that stuff from the classics, that's risking their athletic fund for the year. So I think if HBCUs, ain't nothing wrong with going on the road and get your shine on. My thing is, and even Nicholls State and Southeastern is tired of that. Why we gotta pay out our pockets? The NCAA needs to step the hell up. All the money they got, they need to get with these sponsors and be a sponsor of the FCS playoffs. Stop these schools from paying to get home games. It needs to stop because that would make a lot more sense for all these schools, not just the HBCUs, but the smaller schools like a Southeastern, like a Northwestern, like all these schools that they don't have to put up money. The NCAA will cover everything, including the travel and everything else for both teams. That's how it's supposed to go. It is not supposed to go like it is now. That's idiotic and it's stupid. Why would we have a national championship game where all the money comes in when they make the championship? That's what you provide. Don't make no sense. It should be everything provided throughout the playoffs. If they do that, I bet you more HBCUs will try to get in the playoffs, but not just that, will vouch for more of a home game because now everything's being covered.
Whatever happened to earning things? How can you earn the right to host a home game, but you have to pay for it? That makes no sense to me at all, VK. That makes no sense.
It don't. When I heard more about that, I not just from Jackson State, from other smaller schools, even people close in athletics at Nicholls State, it's like, wow. I was like, that don't make no sense at all. Because it's like, and they say about North Dakota State, they got a lot of money, but it's almost like they're wasting money by trying to convince them to host the home games. And that's the thing. It just depends on who got the budget. But why waste it? Especially with smaller schools ain't got that kind of bank that North Dakota has. And North Dakota plays about at least two 1A schools each year and earn about
FBS school every year.
Exactly. about one or two each year, and earn about $2-3 million.
Yeah.
So what it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, especially for smaller schools that try to get a home game. Come on, man. Montana is not what it was, and they're trying to come back. All these other programs. Come on, man. It depends on what money they have, but they need to stop it because you're wasting these schools' money.
Go ahead, George.
Let me piggyback off of what VK's saying. First of all, Montana's playing for a national championship in a couple of weeks against South Dakota State in Frisco, so they're back.
Yeah, they are.
They knocked off North Dakota State, who is a perennial power dynasty. The thing I look at when you look at the structure of the SCS playoffs, I get it. It's 24 teams. 8 teams get a bye. The top 8 seeds. The Big Sky, in where Montana and North Dakota State and those teams reside, usually puts 3 to 4 to 5 teams in the playoff. It sounds monopolizing, doesn't it? Because they do what the smaller, more restrictive schools, as far as financially speaking, do. They go to the D1s and they take that payday, and that payday helps their budget immensely. Absolutely immensely. What's up, Nick? Hope all's well with you. Happy holidays to you, man. Um, but when you look at the structure of how that thing goes, Grambling doesn't play. I mean, they do their schedule D1s. It's not that it's rare, but it's not as often, excuse me, as it needs to be. And I think when Mickie gets entrenched in there, Coach Joseph gets in there, I think they're gonna put it out there and say, look, we'll play one of you big boys. Because look, all it takes is one 60-minute game. You just got to be better on one day. It's happened. The FCS schools have beaten FBS schools. Don't I know? 2007, Appalachian State, when they were in the FCS, knocked off my Michigan Wolverines at the Big House. Don't I know? So yeah, bringing up bad memories. We're doing that on the holidays. How you like that? But as far as the playoff thing, I remember this was brought up, like you said, VK, and I was like immediately floored. I was like, man, why? Why is it like that? The NCAA, do you know that is a multi-billion-dollar industry? The NCAA itself, it is a multi. So you're telling me, who I don't know who's in charge. It's not Emmert. I think he retired, but I don't remember who the man is in charge of the NCAA now. It's not. It used to be Mark Emmert.
Yeah, it's not Emmert no more.
No, it's not. I'm drawing a blank on who it is right now. You would think, all right, the FCA has got a natural playoff, but the structure of it, financially speaking, sucks. Totally sucks. I mean, that needs to be changed immediately. Immediately, it needs to happen. And maybe the motivation for the MEAC and the SWAC. Hey, look, we could host and bring some of this money to our fan base, to our school, and upgrade what these. Look, let's be honest. Some of the MEAC schools and some of the SWAC schools, the facilities are subpar. Simple as that. And just calling a spade a spade. Don't you think if you host a playoff game, you get a lot of money coming into your school? You can use that money to upgrade your facility, your training center, your gym, your field.
But not when you got to pay for a home game.
Exactly.
I said not when you got to pay for a home game or a home game.
That needs to change. That needs to completely change. It needs to. That's an extreme makeover that needs to happen. Schools should not be made to play. That's stupid. I mean, it's completely stupid that they got to put out of pocket to host a game. Man, really? And then the seating structure. I don't have a problem with the seating structure, but teams like a Nichols, like a Grambling, a SWAC school, if they make the playoff, they're going to get seated where they play in round one, and then and if they survive it, they got that long road trip to the ice cold. Montana, Eastern Washington, North Dakota State. Only thing good about Eastern Washington is that red field. I mean, that's pretty cool. That said,
no.
Oh no,
it's worse than the blue field at Boise.
All that. I mean, it's an eyesore. I get it, but I mean, as far as you like color fields, color coordinated fields, great. But yeah, it's a little bit of an eyesore if you don't like it.
What I think more than anything, you look at the whole conglomerate. They got to change it. It's obvious in itself. Charlie Baker is the president of the NCAA. And, I think the problem is the NCAA, the rich get richer, the poor don't get a thing. That need to change. It really do. I think the facilities at the HBCUs has been improved a lot I don't know if have you been to Grambling lately? I've been to Grambling in the past. They have improved a lot.
Ever
They
since,
got
ever since they took that stand,
yep, that's it. They got basically a new basketball arena that's been there for like 5-6 years. They got a video screen now at their football stadium. They got a unique stadium, George. All I'm gonna tell you is almost the HBCU version of Michigan Stadium, the way it looks. More
I
of an
didn't say
underground
I
stadium.
wasn't.
No, no, no,
I
no, no,
wasn't.
no. I'll just say I'm not saying you were saying that. I'm just saying what's been going on recently with these HBCUs
Mhm.
and stuff like that. How a lot of improvements at a lot of these spots. Southern has a video. So you've been to AAW Mumford. They made a lot of improvements. They even got a video screen.
Mhm.
So a lot of improvements all around, all over. North Carolina Central's trying to possibly build a new stadium. So it's a lot going on with these schools, and they're making an effort to push the NCAA. Like I said, they got to make a lot of changes and make the FCS sponsored. They need to make it sponsored, not just for the HBCUs, but all of these smaller schools that they don't have to do that. And also, like with Grambling, yes, continue to take. They played LSU this year, so they got a cool 1.5 million. You know what I'm saying? So that's good. They're gonna. I think knowing Coach Mickie, they going. I wouldn't be surprised they'll schedule a Nebraska or somebody big. And then if I was them, man, play ULM, play Louisiana Tech. That would be a hell of a game because Tech is right around the corner.
they can look. Look, it was 2010. Tech and Grambling played at the Independence Bowl,
I
so it can
remember
happen
that.
again.
I
It can
remember
happen
that.
again.
And there was a big crowd for that
It
game.
was a huge
That
crowd.
was a huge
Yeah,
crowd for that game. That was amazing. I think did Tech win that game?
Tech won.
Yeah, it was a close ball game.
It was
Tech
close.
won.
Sonny Dykes' first game as head coach at Louisiana Tech.
Louisiana Tech.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they should play again. But like I said, I think knowing Mickey's going to schedule really good and try to get as much as he can for Graham to be out there to get advantage financially. But then on top of that, try to get like more of a fan worthy game and stuff like that. Because I tell you, if they can play Tech or ULM, that'd be awesome, man. You know what I'm saying? To get that fan base rolling in North Louisiana.
I want to ask you, VK, because you know this answer. I believe I know it, but I know I get confused with it. But I want to say Derek, no, not Derek. Mickey, Vance, and Sammy are brothers.
Yes.
Derek and Terry are
Eric.
brothers.
Terry, their cousins.
Yeah, they're cousins, but I'm saying
Yes.
brother-wise, Vance, Mickey, Sammy, and then they brothers, and then Derek and Terry.
Yes.
I got it. See,
Yes. I think
got
they are
it.
brothers as well. Yeah, I believe so.
There we go. There we
Mhm.
go.
Yep. So it's a big humongous. I forgot. I forgot about Terry, and I'm like, yeah, that is knowing who Derek Daddy is, and he used to coach me back in the day. Me and Derek Joseph played together back in the day playing ball. So yeah, yeah. So I'm like, it make a lot of sense, and I'm like, I forgot he had a brother. So yeah, so it makes a whole lot of sense. It's all in one family, and it's like with Derek, it was amazing in itself when he played at Shaw,
Yeah.
and that get to me, and it gave me a lot more respect for Hank Tierney than I ever did because that year they could have won a state championship and should have won it, in my
Tough.
opinion. But at the same
A lot
time,
of people opinions.
yeah. But at the same time, he changed the game so much. And I mean, there was two coaches I can see that adapted to the times of the game. One, Hank Tierney. Two, Rick Gailey. Hank Tierney decided, scrap the veer. I'm going to put in a pro set offense with two backs, shotgun formation, a one back formation, an I formation, and we're going to spread the ball out. And they average over 35 to 37 a game. You look at Rick Gailey when he had the cornerback from LSU that played on their first national championship, Corey Webster.
Roy Webster.
When
Yep.
Corey Webster was at quarterback, he knew how good he was with his legs. But Rick Galley seen how good he was throwing it. He decided we're gonna spread it out, shotgun formation. Besides, they still did the wing T, but they decided to put some shotgun in there and spread it out because they knew how fast Corey was and how good his arm was. So those two coaches I respected highly because not too many coaches can adapt to the game. They want to stick to what they stick with because that's what they do, and there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes when you see when more people can do beyond what they can do, it's like, hey, we got to change it up a bit because I know this man could do this more than that. Hey, we're gonna put this in there. We're gonna finagle the offense for him. And sometimes that's really, really good. And that's how the game has changed over the years.
GP, last thoughts on Grambling State hiring Coach Mickie Joseph.
I mean, like I said, I'm excited at the opportunity that he's getting. He's going to really do very well there. I feel like, and it's good for them, for that school. I'll say this. He preaches discipline in classroom and academics, the APR. I don't know what their APR was sitting at with Hugh Jackson and this regime that was just there. I don't know that, but I can promise you this. They're going to graduate for sure because Mickey's going to preach the educational aspect. Look, NIL money's great, but it ain't forever. I mean, once your football days are done, they're done. And that 9 to 5 job, you better have that degree in your hand. People don't want it's just a piece of paper. Lies. I mean, that piece of paper could take you a longer way than athletics will. Your career could end on a dime. It could end with a torn ACL, a broken knee, or a horrible injury. Which obviously you don't ever want to see that, but the possibility is there. But Mickey, I'll say this: within, I don't know what. I mean, I don't know how the recruiting class is going to shape up in February. I want to wait to see that. I'll tell you this: I'd be shocked if they're not playing in the Celebration Bowl within 2 years. I would be absolutely shocked because I know Mickey and I know his commitment to excellence and his demand for excellence. They're going to be in this Celebration Bowl in 2 years' time as SWAC champs, and they might just win the HBCU national title.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. And I think it's good. I think it's good they continue this de facto national championship because of now what's going on with the college football playoff being expanding and all that other stuff and everything. It's good they continue this and everything, and especially the low. I don't know if you've seen it. The ratings were low for the Celebration Bowl this year, despite of these two teams playing each other between Florida A&M and
Let me ask you because when we did WBOK, I sat there and said Deion Sanders brought in a lot of viewers, and people were saying that wasn't the truth. Now here we are, Deion Sanders a year removed from coaching the HBCUs, and the Celebration Bowl had its lowest ratings ever or in a very, very long time.
Ever. And I'm gonna tell you, Howard in Florida, and I think the Deion factor is a part of it, but I was shocked with that rating because you have to think about it. Florida A&M's alumni is really deep, and Howard is really deep. You see the people and not just the government officials, the stars, the athletes that come from Howard. I'm thinking the ratings were going to be, I'm not going to say it was going to be as good as the Jackson State years, but I really thought it was going to be not bad because of the fact of these two programs being there, especially the runs they made. I'm really shocked with the ratings because I was like, bruh, where everybody at? But the Deion factor is part of it. So, people can't be blind to the facts. You know what I'm saying? It's all about publicity. It's all about trying to push. And I think these HBCUs are going to do their best to continue to push it the way they need to. Deion just put a shot in the arm more than anything else. And people got to give him credit for that. I don't care what anybody freaking says, And the thing about it is for Deion, and some people are like, well, but no. Deion Sanders did something that not too many coaches have done. Put accountability to these HBCUs. Accountability. Knowing, hey, you got to step up and do what you need to do, or you're going to lose people. Or not just that, if you want to continue the success, you got to step up and do that. I'll put up the resources, but at the same time, you got to understand what's going on here, what your problem is. Because too many administrators get themselves in the way. There's not too many administrators will take chances like the administrators out at Purview, how that program has grown, the administrators at Florida A&M, have they overcome some things these last couple of years, that they are getting on top of things and getting their programs promoted and up there and taking chances and making sure their programs are successful. So not too many programs do that. Like you don't want to be like other programs like Texas Southern, who's in a big old mess.
I tell you this though, when they were looking for a head coach, Coach Mickey's name didn't pop in my head. And when I saw that's who they hired, I was like, oh man, this is wonderful. That is wonderful. And
Um,
I am expecting a lot of big things from Grambling in the future with Coach Joseph at the helm. I really am, man. I'm excited for him. I'm happy for him. And hopefully, man, great things happen with him as the head coach of Grambling State University.
And possibly some access sooner or later, you know what I'm saying? Especially for the Hash It Out show. It'd be good for us to maybe take a trip to Grambling and check out a home game, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Got some access to that, possibly some access to maybe Nichols. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, bro, Hash It Out could be
look
like
at BK with the connections.
hey, I'm like this. Hash It Out could be like Pat McAfee, man.
Damn right, baby.
Let's go hit it, man. You know?
Jared, I want to address VK's contention about why the ratings were low.
Okay.
The one thing Deion Sanders did better than anybody else, he knows how to sell.
Yes.
That dude is a salesman. That's why you saw a lot of people show up in Atlanta. That's why people tuned in. Man, I got to watch Deion, see if they can win this national championship. Now, mind you, he was 0-2. That's irrelevant to the fact. Can I say that this year's game, Florida A&M and Howard, was the best game that nobody watched? That was a great football
Good
game.
game.
Yes, it was.
I watched that one.
No, I think it was more than good. 30-26 it finished to the Rattlers. And Florida A&M, congratulations on winning the Celebration Bowl. Well done, Howard. You gave a great account of yourself. Both teams emptied the tank, but nobody watched. Why? Here's where I'm going to start stirring the pot here. Ain't an HBCU person in charge that doesn't know that can do what Dion did. Sell the product. Yeah, they need to do better. Put that look. Those two schools had a renaissance year. Howard had struggled for the longest. A&M was good back in the Ken Riley days, and then they fell off. And now they've kicked back. All right. But where's the sell? Where's the marketing? What the heck? I mean, I want to watch a national championship game. I need to see fannies in the seats. And I didn't see that in Atlanta. The attendance was woeful. The ratings stunk. It's because the HBCU admins of those schools, not just them, are not selling the product. They're not doing what Dion did. Man, look, put your product out there and people are going to watch. Give us a reason to watch. Look, I happen to watch because it's on the schedule. It was on the schedule this year. I mean, obviously, it's the first weekend of bowl season, and what a great time we're having. With that, except if you're Tulane, but that's another story. But that's, to me, at the end of the day, Jared, that's what it is. It's the HBCU admins got to sell their program, market it better, be better marketers. Stop sitting on your ass and not doing a damn thing, and let your football product sell. Let your product sell. You got good athletes, really good athletes. Some of your greatest athletes ever have come from the SWAC. Gee, do I need to mention one? Jerry Rice, the late great Steve McNair. I mean, it's not that the SWAC or the MEAC can't produce great talent. Walter Payton, Sweeten, arguably the greatest running back in football ever. I mean, you can make that discussion about Emmett, Jim Brown, and all that, but you have dogs, big time athletes that go to the NFL or the NBA or whatnot and do extremely well. Stop telling me you can't sell this product. There's quality football at the SWAC and the MEAC level. Y'all just need to do a better job of selling your own product.
Yeah, and I think there's too many people that make damn excuses over them places.
Exactly.
Real talk. Yeah, and I'm saying it because if all these other PWIs do everything they can to sell their program, why can you? I don't want to hear that. It's freaking excuses. I'm tired of that, and I'm saying that not just as a human being, but an African American man that wants better for everyone, because we have the right to anything in this country. Anything. Stop limiting yourself and let people dictate how you should run things in this country and your school.
All right. We're going to take a commercial break
Break time.
and come right back, and hopefully we can get Jawan Johnson on the show. He just hit me up on Instagram, so hopefully we get him on here. That's our next guest. We'll be right back here on the Hash It Out Show. Don't go nowhere. Y'all stay right there. We got a GOAT coming on. Y'all stay right there.
It's Rontre Carter, defensive back at Archbishop Shaw, and you're watching Hash It Out Show. Hey, it's Rontre Carter.
And welcome back to the Hash It Out Show. I'm JB, your sports guy, joined by VK Jones and George Peppers. We're trying to get Jawan Johnson on, so just be patient with us. But while we're trying to get him on, let's talk about Jawan Johnson. I'll let you go first, VK.
Well, I tell you, man, I mean, a player like this has just been so amazing that we have seen these last couple of years, the last 4 years exactly, 4 straight trips to the state championship game, including a state championship. And he's been just amazing in itself. Like I mentioned, one of the best performances I've ever seen a player play a year ago against St. Thomas More, but too bad it came in a loss. But at the same time, he has really made a lot of plays, and he's been very, very dynamic. And I wish him the best going forward to LSU and to the next level. Hopefully he gets an opportunity to play, but regardless of the fact, he's very dynamic.
George Peppers.
I second that emotion as far as how great he is. I mean, I got to see him this year with you guys. You know, I wasn't there last year. I didn't make it on time last year to watch that game, and I felt, oh man, it was not fun to miss that. But I've seen a lot of great players. I think between the three of us, we have seen icons. We have seen legendary players come through the high school ranks. Is it safe to say? Is it safe to say that Jawan Johnson has interspersed himself in that conversation amongst the greats in the history of Louisiana high school football? I'd say emphatically yes. And people are going to get caught up in the fact that he lost 3 straight championship games, one to St. Charles and the last 2 to St. Thomas More. And people are going to get hung up on, he didn't win the big one. He didn't win the big one. Newsflash, boys. Dan Marino is considered one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. How many Super Bowls does he have again? 0. I don't want to hear all that stupidness. You know, cut it out. Jawan revolutionized the quarterback position for a guy 5. I wish he was about 2 to 3 inches taller. But hey, Drew Brees was 6 feet. And look at what he's done. Jawan's 5'11. A legit 5'11. So don't tell me that dude can't play quarterback. You know, and I don't know if I want to broach it, but, you know, I know he's committed to LSU, and obviously they got quarterbacks there. With that said, do you guys think, before we get him on, do you guys think he should have an opportunity to play quarterback at LSU? Or do you think that you're fine with them swapping positions on him?
Man,
tough question.
I think he could play any position when it comes to cornerback, and he got some size on him, so I think he could be a strong safety also. But man, he's a playmaker. He's such a playmaker at the quarterback position. I would like for LSU to give him a shot at it, and let's see what he can do, because we saw what he did against some of the best teams in the state. Ruston, Indiana, St. Thomas More, Westgate. I mean, man, this guy.
St. Charles.
Yeah, his freshman year. Yeah. I mean, gosh, man, it's just the guy is just phenomenal and unbelievable, man. And it's crazy. Depending on the type of offense they run. Yeah, they run a spread. They run a spread. I think it's
Yep.
perfect for him. But I would just love to see him get a shot at quarterback and to be able to show the world what he can do. Oh, there we go. And speaking of Jawan Johnson, ladies and gentlemen, I said it. One of the best players in the state this year. He's one of the best players of all time. And he is the Max Preps National Player of the Year. We have the one, the only, Jawan Johnson. Jawan, thank you for joining us. How you doing today, my friend?
Doing good. How are y'all?
We are doing
We're
great.
good. We're good.
Man. Great
Thank
to
you.
have you. Jawan, I want to start off with this question. You had 4 great years at Lafayette Christian Academy. What do you want people to remember you as?
Um, I want people to remember as just a person that that never gave up. Honestly, that no matter how hard it got, no matter what it was on the field or off the field, that I was kind, I was helpful, I'm a believer in God. So I just want people to remember me as being a believer of God, and yeah, just being a great person.
When you took the field as a freshman, did you ever imagine your career would have taken off the way that it did?
Yes, sir. One thing I am very confident in myself. Like I said, I'm a believer in God, so I pray to God almost every day. I try to every day. So I just knew He had something planned for me. He had something for me. So me just going out there and putting in work and doing what I had to do. I definitely felt like I had something going for me.
4 wonderful years at Lafayette Christian Academy, but coming from you, what is your greatest memory of playing football for Lafayette Christian Academy?
I would have to say when I broke the record. It was crazy. It was like, it was really like a movie. Not even when I broke the record, honestly, like not the play I broke the record, like after the game when it was the big old ceremony, and it was just like a movie. I never expected that. They did a great job. The production team did a great job with all the lights and the fireworks and all that. They did a great job for sure.
What did you think when they said that they're going to retire your number?
It was crazy, honestly, because I never thought about my number getting retired. I think the only number that was retired was Sage Ryan, number 15, and his little brother got it now, but it was retired because nobody knew, like everybody knew not to touch that 15. So it was crazy. It was crazy just to think that that they retired the number and it's just gonna be going like it's just in the what is it called, trophy case now.
Before I pass it on to VK Jones, we know you are going to LSU. What kind of relationship do you have with Coach Brian Kelly and Coach Frank Wilson?
Coach Brian Kelly, he's a great guy. I talk to him, and every time I talk to him, I learn something new from every time. Like, no matter if it's something about life, something about football, I always learn something new from every time I talk to him. And that's one of the main reasons. Like, I chose LSU because I'm more of a person. I love learning, whether it's seeing it, whether it's just going about and them just saying it or teaching me. I just love learning. So when every time I talk to him, I could just learn something new. Is definitely a great thing. And with Coach Frank, great guy. I look at him. We call him Unc Frank in my family. I call him Unc. He's such a great guy. Like I said, he's just one of the people that fire you up when you talk to him. Like I'll be ready to suit up right there and there for him. Right when I talk to him, he's just a great guy all around.
Jawan, man, man, we appreciate you joining us, man. I tell you, man, I watched a lot of your stuff, covered a lot of things, and you are unbelievable, man. I appreciate you coming on and everything else. First question I have for you: how was that you had to make a transition from a head coach to the other, from Coach Trev Falk to Coach Hunter Landry these last couple years?
It was a change for sure. Not having Coach Trev, he been in there since I've been to LCA, and I got to LCA my 7th grade year, and I was always around the football team. So it definitely was a change, but not a change in like the program. It was a change of just not having him around. The program stayed the same. Everybody over there already was been there for a long time, and Coach Hunter's already the offensive coordinator right under him. So we kept the same program, we kept the same things going, and Coach Trev, of course, he left, but the morals that he kept with us, and the respect level we had, the discipline we had. So it was just he left, he was not there, but all his other things was there.
Well, you look at you look at the program, your program coming forward, especially when you got the Lafayette Christian. Lafayette Christian already set the tone athletically, especially with a couple sports, especially basketball, setting the tone on the girls and boys side, winning state championships. How it was when you came in and felt like, hey, we can make Lafayette Christian football be on the map as well.
Well, I already knew that LSA football was goaded already because once I got there, like I said, my 7th grade year, I was already over there in the middle school, but they already had built the foundation. So when I got in high school, the foundation was already built for us to keep on striving to keep on being LCA football. So it wasn't hard for me to just keep going on with the program and just keep following under the leaders that we had. And once I was a leader, I just knew that we had to go and keep going for the guys that laid the foundation already.
Man, looking at these last couple of years, y'all strive to be that program, not just in the state, but also in that Lafayette area. You know how it was at times, especially those battles against St. Thomas More. I mean, it was a all out battle between you two guys, and despite things coming up short, but regardless how it was, because I know deep down, STM might have treated you like a little bro, but you like, hey, we're gonna fight all the way to the end, and we're gonna prove that we can get big brother. So, what was your thoughts with those battles?
STM, they always have a great football team. They always have a great program. A great coach, head coach. Um, but the battles I love right there. Like when it's not easy, it's not you about to just push over these guys and it's over. Or I love battles where you know you the underdog and you know that you have to go out there and show out, or you ain't go come out with it. And like you said, we came out short, but they're a good program and they're a good team, and we just had that edge for us, and we had that chip on our shoulder. Unfortunately, like you said, it didn't come out how we wanted it to, but we definitely fought for sure.
I gotta ask you this, man. I don't know if you heard of these football players. You're kind of young, a little bit. Michael Bishop, Joe Hamilton. Those were two great quarterbacks. Came out of Georgia Tech and Kansas State. Same height as you. Do you think that maybe you can take a play like that, take yourself as an opportunity to maybe play quarterback in the next level?
Definitely. Like I said, I'm a type of player. I don't really care where I'm at, what position I'm at. As long as I'm playing football, I'm cool. So if it's quarterback, if it's DB, receiver, whatever it's at, punt return, wherever it's at, I'm gonna be the best I can at that position. So just wherever they put me at, I mean, if they put me at quarterback and I have to play quarterback, I'm going to play quarterback. If they put me at DB and I have to play DB, I'm playing DB at the best of my ability. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the position that I'm playing. It's about going to the next level and the next level after that. And once I get to that level, then I got to work for it.
Last question, Jawan. I'm gonna pass it to George Peppers with the questions and stuff. What does Lafayette Christian has meant to you going? What that school has meant to you going forward when you leave and they're going to LSU?
It means a lot to me. I've been there since I was in the 7th grade. I learned a lot of lessons there. I grew up there basically. I go over there every day for track workouts, football, school, I'm just always there. So it's basically a place where I grew up at. And it means a lot. Like I said, I learned a lot of lessons there. I grew as a young child to a young adult. The coaches over there is insane. Like best program I think I'm gonna ever be a part of for real. Cause I learned so much over there. Like I just learned a lot from the coaches, from the program, and it's just been a blessing to even go to Lafayette Christian Academy. So just it means a lot to me for sure.
Jawan, first of all, thank you for taking the time for joining us. Congratulations on an outstanding high school career, one of the best I've ever seen. And I've covered high school football a very long time. Also, a belated Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you, man. Just thank you for taking the time for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank
Um,
you.
my first question, though, absolutely, it's our pleasure to have somebody with your stature and your talent. Um, in the recruiting process, I know you've going to go to LSU, but did other schools in the process offer you the opportunity to play quarterback, or were they doing what LSU is going to do when you were in the process of recruiting? What are the other schools that you were considering? Did they offer you the chance to play quarterback?
I think 3 schools offered me as a quarterback, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Houston, University of Houston, um, UL offered me, and I think it was like La Tech or something offered me for quarterback. But where I want to be at LSU, and I knew I wanted to be at LSU. So yeah.
And the reason I ask that, it's not to slight the other schools. It's not anything like that. It's because I've watched you throw the football, and you throw a really good ball, and you have a real command of any offense you've been in at LC. And I'm just a fan of your ability. Just being honest. My next question is, what are you going to miss most about Lafayette Christian? I know you said you grew up there and everything else, but what's the one thing you're going to miss the most?
Playing with my guys, honestly. You never have that high school experience like ever again. I know that in the career now, you could go to college, it's gonna be more of about a business. It's gonna be a business thing. Then when you go to NFL, it's gonna be even more business. So just having a high school relationship with my guys. I have a lot of friends at LSC and a lot of people that was in the stands that I just talk to every day, and I'm gonna miss them for sure. So that's the thing I'm gonna miss the most.
And you're a very confident person. I see that about you, but you're also very humble. Where do you see yourself amongst the players that have come through Louisiana? I mean, I'm going to put you at a high pedestal. I feel like you're one of the best I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of great players come through this state. But where do you feel about yourself amongst those that are talked about as far as greats in this state?
Um, I really don't look at things like that, honestly. To be honest with you, I know they have some great talent that come through here. Sage Ryan, the one that came to LSA, he's a great player, phenomenal player. Also,
Hmm.
in my opinion, I think Zach Clement, that come from LSA, very good player. I remember him throwing the ball, and I used to be the ball boy. I used to have to catch his ball, and it used to hurt my hand how hard he threw the ball. So I know they had a lot of great players that came through Louisiana. So I don't really want to rate myself nowhere in between there because at the end of the day, we all played football and we all did amazing jobs, and that's
Sure.
the thing at the end of the day. So I'm not gonna rank myself nowhere.
Are you going to go to the bowl game against Wisconsin on New Year's?
No sir. I'm gonna be in
I mean,
Texas at the All American Adidas All American game.
oh, okay. Well, we'll get to see you show out there too. Last question before I turn it over to JB. What are your expectations as you now enter a different phase of your life at LSU? What are your expectations, both academically and personally and athletically?
My personal My personal expectations is just first off my grades. My mama is a big person on education, and she want me to have my education. So definitely my grades, make sure my grades are right, making sure I'm good in school, and also football, because that's what I'm there for at the end of the day, is to play football and get better at football. So definitely training and going over there and getting better at football, and just making sure I'm doing whatever I have to do to get better to help the team out or support the team. And if it's on the field on them Saturday nights or if it's on scout team in practice, I'm gonna be helping somehow for sure.
Jawan, one last question before we get you out of here. During the whole recruiting process, not just for you, but other players throughout the state and other states who were being recruited from LSU, you were another recruiter. Like you go on Twitter and say, come on, brother, come on to LSU. when football is said and done, do you see yourself being a high school recruiter for a major college program one day?
Um, Not really. I really don't. I'm really not a big fan of. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a big fan of watching football. Honestly, like if it's not me, like if I'm not watching like film, or if it's not just watching me, like I can't watch football. Like I can't watch NFL. Like I can't watch college like that because it just I get so bored and I want to go play because I'm watching it. So like now I want to go outside and run routes or act like I'm locking somebody up. Like that's just how I am competitively. Like I'm just like a person that I get anxious when I see football. So I really don't watch it. So and I know in the recruiting process you have to go out and scout and look at players and stuff. So probably not. What I want to do after football is I want to be an architect, or even just I don't know. I've been thinking about being a sports analyst, but like I said, I don't really like watching football. So yeah, I don't know.
Jawan Johnson, man, it was a pleasure watching you for all these years, man. I mean, I can't say enough about you. I cannot say enough about you. And now that you're going to LSU, I wish you nothing but the best and nothing but success. I'll tell my cousin Logan Diggs to look after you
It's
while he's there. But man, it was an honor, my brother. And
thank you.
congratulations on everything. Truly.
Yes, appreciate it.
Definitely, man. You take care. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
y'all. Yes,
No
sir.
problem.
One of the greatest of all time, ladies and gentlemen, Jawan Johnson, humble, very confident, as you can see. And I mean, I can't say enough about the kid. I cannot say enough about the kid. And man, I'm gonna remember, meeting him for the first time when we called the Lafayette Kristen Westgate game. I'm gonna remember the over 600 total yards in the state championship loss to STM. I'm gonna remember highlights. I'm gonna remember watching Night Vision to see him break the record of Brock Berlin. And you can't say enough about this kid. And I'm going to remember how bad he wanted that state championship this year. We saw at the press conference, how bad he wanted the press conference. We saw him. And, man, I just, y'all know I was pulling for the LCA. I'll say it on here. Not because I'm media, but y'all know I was pulling for him. I was. I wanted him to win so bad. I did. So bad. And it didn't happen. But this kid here, man, is unbelievable on the field and off the field. He's a great guy. He's going to do great things for LSU, man. I just can't wait to see him. I can't wait to see him in that purple and gold. And I can't say enough about him. I can't. Man, I always said to me, Brock Berlin, Joe McKnight, Ryan Perrilloux were the best three I've ever seen. And he's on that list as for the best I've ever seen come from this state. VK.
Well, he's amazing. I mean, he is definitely up there with one of the best I've seen out there. He's up there with Leonard Fournette, Keaton Thompson, and also Dwayne Woods. People can't not forget that, and I'm sorry, you cannot make me change my mind on Dwayne Woods. Dwayne Woods was maybe one of the best players I ever seen outside. I say this: him and Leonard Fournette is what, because the fact of the matter is Leonard added a dimension that we hardly seen. A running back that's big, tall, and strong, for him to hitting the hole and being powerful like he is, and for Dwayne Woods, who averaged over 2,000 yards for 3 straight seasons and carrying his team to 2 state titles in a row. He was amazing in itself. But I tell you, Jawan is up there with those great players, and he's really good. And for him to have the performance he had against St. Thomas More a year ago, and also for him to break a record that's been there for a
24 years,
long time, he's definitely up there with the greatest of all time in itself. But those are the people I mentioned. I think those are really good. And Speedy Noel, and DJ 13. I can't forget about him. He was really good in itself. You know what I'm saying? I love what Speedy does. but I take Keaton Thompson over Speedy any day. I'm sorry, because after what I've seen, what he did against Destrehan after being down 2 touchdowns, and Ken Trahan says that he's one of the best players he's ever seen. That's something when one of the legends in media says that about a player in Keaton Thompson. So, but regardless of the fact, some great ones. But I know Jawan is up there.
George Peppers.
Well, I'll say this to your point, JB. If Jalen Noel and the other kid that got hurt don't get hurt, because remember, it was 14-14 when Jalen went out, and they scored to go in front. If those two guys do not get hurt, they win that state championship. I'm telling you right now.
Jalen didn't get hurt. He got ejected, unfortunately.
Oh, he got ejected, I mean.
Yes.
And the other kid got, the other guy got hurt. Yeah, Jalen, that was a silly move. If that doesn't happen, if those adverse circumstances don't happen, LC is a state champion. I'm calling it. Because I think when they regain momentum going in front, and then the losses of them really hurt the play calling down the stretch in that game. Ain't nobody going to change my mind. But as far as legacy, look, Jawan Johnson is one of the greats I've ever seen. And I've covered high school football. I've followed high school football since I was a freshman at John Ehret. And that's way back in the day. Way back in the day, 1985, to be exact. I've seen some greats come along. We can't mention Keaton Thompson. And yeah, that comeback against Destrehan was lethal. How they did it, being down 2 scores to that program on the road, I think, and they won that game. Yeah, that's character, big character. But for Jawan, what I'm the most looking forward to, and look, people could say a lot of quirky things about Brian Kelly, but the one thing they cannot say is he can't coach. He is a hell of a football coach. And here, hey, Brian Kelly, here's what I need you to do. Get you a new DC, and you're fine. But that being said, Jawan's going to do great things at LSU, and he's going to be utilized properly. I think they know what his strengths are. They know his improvisation skills. I would not be surprised, guys, if he's a Wildcat-type quarterback at some point in his tenure at LSU. Would be the perfect role for him, right? The presumption is that he'd run, but no, he could throw it. And that's a dangerous weapon to have, a guy that can run and that could also throw it.
Jawan Johnson, they say 5'11", 6 feet. But man, to me, watching him play, he's a shorter version of Vince Young to me. To me, their styles are so similar. Like somebody told me Russell Shepard. I like, no. I like Russell Shepard, but no. To me, man, just seeing Jawan in action, man, that was the first that came to my mind. A shorter Vince Young. But man, I can't wait for the future of this player at LSU. Go ahead, DK.
You say Vince Young, I get it, but I can't say Vince Young because I seen 2 quarterbacks in his same stature, same kind of player, and has good enough, not just good enough, rocket arms. But you say Vince, okay, but I say Joe Hamilton, Michael Bishop.
Okay.
Same height, and the arms was crazy. Like, especially Joe Hamilton.
That's
Joe,
cool.
what Joe Hamilton, that was, I'll tell anybody, go back and watch Joe Hamilton at Georgia Tech. Ridiculous. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm not gonna say
no, but I respect your opinion though.
I know you do.
He's just trying to be a contrarian, JB.
You had to disagree like that, but I know you do, man.
I know.
Man, if you
He's
could have said,
man.
I mean, like George, you just could have said, I think Joe Hamilton. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't see Vince Young, but I see God, Jesus, attack me.
Man, just swallowing you. Listen, I'll say this about the comparison to VY. Vince Young, yeah, I could see that. Why? Because of the pocket presence and his improvisational skills. The fact that he's quick with decision making, but he's also very progressive when it comes to looking at the pocket and seeing his receivers. That's the thing I see. It's the leadership, the natural leadership, and Vince Young was that at Texas. I can see that. Then Joe Hamilton, VK, I saw that kid play. That kid can go. Yeah. And who was the other one you mentioned?
Michael Bishop.
Michael Bishop, Kansas State. Yes, sir. 1998. To this day, I thought that team was ticketed for a national championship until they gagged the A&M game in the Big 12 championship. Until that game, that just was a complete mess that night. But still, take nothing away from those two guys. They were great players. But Jawan is going to carve out his own niche at LSU. Give him a chance. Let's see what he does. Has he signed on this cycle, or is he going to wait till February? That's what I forgot to ask.
He signed.
He signed. Signed, sealed, delivered. Done.
LSU got all 27 of their recruits that they offer scholarships to sign.
Wow.
All 27.
Goodness. So LSU could just lay back on February. They could probably get those people the day off unless they get walk-ons or whatever. Shoot,
you can grace guard some people too.
They can chill, but them PWOs that are like NILs, they can go ahead and do that too. Like, yo, we don't have a scholarship, but we can get you a PWO, preferred walk-on, and it's NIL money. So
yeah, that's it. That's what they need to do. I think half of the staff might be off that day in February. I wouldn't be surprised because they already signed their people. Whoever working the PWOs, we go work this, and that's it, man. They got it all laid out. I've never seen a school got their signees done early. That's crazy.
Yep, all 27. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and end this show for tonight. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight. Special thanks to Coach Mickie Joseph, the head coach of Grambling State, for joining us. Special thanks to Jawan Johnson, former Lafayette Christian Academy quarterback, who's now going to be playing at LSU come the fall. Great show, guys. Great show to end 2023. We're going to come back next Wednesday, and we're going to do a best of 2023. We give you our thoughts on the best things that happened in 2023 regarding pro, college, and Louisiana high school football. But before we get out of here, VK, you have any last words?
Well, this has been a great 2023 indeed, you know what I'm saying, for this show, for all of us. I hope we're going to go and do bigger, better things going forward. I'm kind of surprised. I thought we was going to take a little break, but
we still might.
We still might. Yeah.
We still might after next week take a week off and come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know the next week is the Sugar Bowl National Tournament.
It starts on Wednesday.
Yeah, it starts on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, but it's been a privilege to be on this thing, year number 2 of this thing, and man, we getting better and better. We hope we had a big audience tonight who joined us. Continue to like, share, tag, and subscribe to this Hash It Out show, man. I'm honored and privileged to be a part of this. Bigger, better things are coming for 2024.
Most definitely. GP.
Yes, sir. First off, before I say what I gotta say, as far as the show and everything else, for whatever you guys are doing, in that it includes y'all too, whatever you do on New Year's Eve, please, and I'm speaking now as a law enforcement official, a deputy, please, whatever you do, exercise extreme caution, exercise safety, think safety. Don't do nothing crazy. Don't do nothing rash. Just wherever you go, wherever you may be, wherever New Year's Eve finds you, please be safe. That's my PSA for you guys. Now, as far as 2023, it's been a banner year for this show, but you know what? 2024 is going to be another up year for us. Why? Because we're going to push and we'll continue to move forward. This was a wonderful year for us. We made a lot of new fans. Heck, I got a school now following me. Patrick Taylor. Love y'all guys. I'm just saying, now y'all two got to get. Now, I don't know if Brunson's going to get with VK because they did win the state title. They might get the all is forgiven part. But to you two,
I got Shaw.
Well, yeah, it's y'all the mother dog.
Yeah.
Of course he does. And look, that's where he went to school. I get it. But to you guys, I'll say this: Happy New Year to the both of you. And I'm looking forward to many. Thank you, and looking forward to many, many great things coming up in 2024 because I think this is the come up year for us, big time. I'm feeling it, and how does VK say it? We're gonna speak it into existence.
Manifested. That's right.
That's right.
That's all day.
Yep. GP and VK, Happy New Year to you guys. To all
Same
our
to you, bro.
fans watching around the world, Happy New Year's to you guys. Stay safe. We're back next Wednesday with the best of 2023. For VK Jones, for George Peppers, I am JB the Sports Guy. We'll see you January 3rd, 2024. Y'all take care.
Happy New Year.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hiller from Ponchatoula Lady Wave, and you're watching The Hash Out Show.
You're watching The Hash It Out Show!
Thank you for watching The Hash It